Jealousy is real. That's the phrase echoing across social media, fan forums, and even post-game press conferences. The jealousy is so obvious, it's become impossible to ignore. And nowhere is it more evident than in the WNBA, where the Indiana Fever and their superstar rookie Caitlin Clark seem to be up against more than just their on-court opponents. The league is boiling over with frustration, and at the center of it all is a growing officiating controversy that's ignited a firestorm. Fans are fed up, players are furious, and the silence from the top has only made things worse. Imagine this. You're watching a game. Caitlin Clark, the most talked about rookie in years, dribbles down the court, slices through defenders, and just as she's about to make her move, she's hacked across the arm. No whistle. The game continues like nothing happened, and if it were a one-time thing, you might write it off as a missed call. But when it keeps happening over and over, every single game, people start asking questions. This is what fans have been documenting for weeks: blatant missed calls, phantom fouls, and referees who seem either oblivious or unwilling to call the game fairly. They're being called chaos gremlins with whistles, a nickname that started as a joke but has taken on serious weight. It paints the picture that fans are seeing: referees less interested in enforcing the rules of basketball and more focused on injecting unnecessary chaos into games. It's not just the missed calls either. It's the way those calls shape entire games. We've seen crucial moments in big matchups like Fever versus Liberty turn into refereeing nightmares. These aren't small issues. These are calls that determine outcomes. One moment stands out where Clark was shoved during a key play, and everyone watching saw it, except the refs. No call. Moments later, she gets whistled for a foul on what looked like basic defensive positioning. Replay showed she barely made contact. It's that inconsistency that's got fans screaming foul, not just at the moment, but at the bigger picture. Is this just bad officiating? Or is there something more deliberate going on? People have started investigating on their own. Frame-by-frame breakdowns on Twitter and YouTube show foul after foul against Clark that go unnoticed. Then when she plays clean defense, she's penalized. It's turned fans into amateur detectives and sparked debate on what the WNBA is actually doing to protect its talent. The frustration has built to the point where commentators are openly asking whether this is the worst officiating in league history. And the fact that there's been no real statement or course correction from the league only adds fuel to the fire. And then there's the matter of what happened off the court. During one high-stakes game, people pointed out that WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert was wearing a dress with the New York City skyline, a subtle gesture that didn't go unnoticed, especially with the Liberty playing. Was it intentional? Who knows? But in a league fighting for legitimacy, optics matter. And this one screamed favoritism to a lot of people. Let's talk about numbers because the stats don't lie. In one Liberty versus Fever matchup, the Liberty took 32 free throws. 32. Indiana? Barely any. That kind of discrepancy is impossible to ignore. Over the course of the season, the Fever have posted a -31 free throw differential. And this isn't a team that just jacks up threes all game. They drive to the rim. They take contact, yet they're not getting the calls. Even head coach Stephanie White has had enough. After holding her tongue for several games, she finally snapped, calling out the disrespect her team has been shown. "We're not looking for a change, we're looking for consistency," she said. And that's exactly the issue. It's not just bad calls, it's the lack of consistent standards. One game, it's a physical battle. The next, it's ticky-tack fouls for minimal contact. The rules seem to shift depending on who's playing and who's officiating. What's worse is how this impacts momentum. Free throws aren't just about points. They control the flow of the game. They dictate tempo. Take away those opportunities from a team like the Fever, and you're not just hurting their scoreboard, you're robbing them of any rhythm. When that keeps happening, fans stop calling it a coincidence. They start calling it a setup. And that's what this feels like for many. Not just incompetence, but a stacked deck. A system that quietly pushes down certain players while boosting others. And who benefits? Certainly not Caitlin Clark. She's the league's biggest draw right now. Her games are appointment viewing. She's driving attendance, ratings, merchandise, everything. And yet she's being treated like an afterthought on the court. The criticism of the referees has become so intense that fans are now digging into how they're selected and trained. And the findings aren't promising. One story involved a former teacher who wrote a letter to the NBA because he loved basketball and wanted a ref. That's all it took. Eventually, he made it to the professional ranks. That might sound heartwarming, but it raises a lot of questions about how seriously the league takes officiating at the highest level. If referees are the gears that keep the machine running, then right now those gears are rusted and grinding. Every bad call, every missed foul, every bizarre whistle that no one can understand, it's breaking the game piece by piece. And with no clear way to hold these officials accountable, fans are losing trust. It's not just about one or two mistakes. It's a feedback loop where the same problems happen over and over with zero consequence. What's even more maddening is the silence from the league's leadership. The commissioner hasn't addressed any of this. Not one public statement. Not one press conference. Just silence. That silence has become deafening. It tells fans everything they need to know. It says don't expect change. It says don't expect fairness. And worst of all, it says this is just how things are now. And here's what's truly frustrating. This is not just about Clark. The entire Indiana Fever roster has been getting hit by these questionable calls. Games that could have gone either way have turned into losses not because of performance, but because of refereeing. The idea that they're playing against two teams, one in jerseys and one in stripes, feels less like a metaphor and more like a weekly reality. Shout out to Stephanie White for stepping up. It's not easy to call out officiating without getting fined or reprimanded. But someone had to do it. She's not just protecting her players. She's making a public statement that enough is enough, and fans respect her more for it. They want a coach who's going to fight for them, especially when the league seems unwilling to do so. Here's the real tragedy. Caitlin Clark is trying to make it work. She could easily blow this whole thing up, demand special treatment, or threaten to leave. But she hasn't. She's grinding through the fouls, the no calls, the physicality. She's trying to elevate the league, trying to bring in new fans. And instead of protecting her, the WNBA is leaving her out there to get cheap-shotted while hyping up other players who don't move the needle. And make no mistake, she does move the needle. When Clark is out, the numbers show it. Ratings drop. Ticket prices fall. Social media goes quiet. This league is 100% reliant on her right now, whether they admit it or not. When she missed games, interest cratered. That tells you everything you need to know about where the league would be without her. And yet, instead of embracing that and doing everything to keep her safe, the league seems content to let her get battered on the court. They're watching fans grow more frustrated, more vocal, more disillusioned, and doing nothing. The silence isn't just a bad PR move, it's a dangerous one. Because here's the truth, the league can't survive another scandal. The fans Clark has brought in are not lifelong WNBA diehards. They're new. They're interested because of her, and if they feel like she's being mistreated, they'll leave. It's that simple. If Caitlin Clark walked away tomorrow, a huge chunk of the WNBA's audience would walk with her. All of this raises the question, why hasn't anything changed? Is it pride? Is it politics? Or is it the worst answer of all? They simply don't care. Because if they did, we'd see adjustments. We'd hear from the commissioner. We'd get transparency. Instead, all we get are bad calls and excuses. There's still time to fix this, but the clock is ticking. What's needed now is accountability. A commitment to protect the game, not just the image of the league. Fans don't want perfect refs, they just want fairness, consistency. A chance for the players to compete without having to worry about whether the officials are playing by their own rules. If that doesn't happen soon, the WNBA won't just be fighting to win over new fans. It'll be fighting to keep the ones it's already got. And once trust is broken, once faith in the game disappears, there might not be a comeback. Not even Caitlin Clark can save a league that refuses to save itself.